will call the budget meeting, school budget meeting to order at 5 o'clock on February the 25th, 2021. We're looking at Article 2 tonight and Article 8.
Actually, 5, 6.
5, 6, and 7.
5, 6, 7.
Are you going to look in your envelope? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a secret envelope.
Yeah, I put away this week's and took out last week's.
Secret envelope.
All right then. All right, so we'll start over again. Welcome to the school budget meeting. We're looking tonight at Article 6 and also at Article 7. We'll begin our meeting 5, 6, and 7.
Okay. Now we got it.
We'll,
I think your mask is giving us carbon poisoning. Breathing all this carbon dioxide.
Leaving the CO2
That's right.
5 was left in the book.
Oh, look, I got somebody at the door.
All right. Okay, we're gonna go on with the Pledge of Allegiance during our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any adjustments to our agenda tonight, Mr. Ross?
There are not, but after the stride statements, before we jump right into the budget, I would like to give an update on possibly how this will be voted on. There's some changes that have happened at the town level that I'll bring everybody up to speed on. How's that sound?
Okay, that sounds good. So we'll turn it over to you now for
Okay.
the stride statements, please.
Very good. As we do with all of our meetings when we meet as a budget committee, we have our Acton School Department budget norms. And there are 6 stride statements. We will strive to work together as a community that values the education of our children, values the education our children receive at AES. We will strive to be fully present at the meetings by becoming familiar with the materials and being attentive. We will strive to invite and welcome the contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will strive to be involved to our individual level of comfort. Each of us is responsible for airing disagreements during the meeting rather than carrying those disagreements outside the meeting. We will strive to operate in a collegial and friendly atmosphere, and we will strive to be responsible for examining all points of view. I had an opportunity to speak with Jennifer Rue at the town, and it seems as so we are scheduled to have a Acton School budget special town meeting on the school budget when we're done in late April, like the last Monday of April. The governor's order currently does not allow us to gather more than 50 people in an enclosed indoor space. So assuming, and that governor's order, I think ends the first week of March, second week of March. With the anticipation that that probably isn't going to change, Jennifer needed to make a decision with the town and the selectmen about a secret ballot vote, because we are allowed this year one more time to do secret ballot versus a town meeting because of the COVID situation. She needs enough backup time to get everything printed and get everything done so that a decision needs to be made. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll know if that decision is made, whether we're going to be able to pull off an April meeting with a gym full of people, which I don't think it's going to happen. And originally, I mentioned to you, it'll probably most likely be that Saturday town meeting that we'll join. It probably won't be a town meeting. It'll probably be vote by ballot like it was last summer. That's probably where we're heading. It's not within our control. It's up to the selectmen, and Jennifer just wanted me to make sure everybody understands that. And that this year, we could have done this last year with the budget, but we didn't. I found out a little late in the process when the ballots were developed what we could do. Roughly $5 million budget with 21 articles to get us there, and each article was written and you had to vote on each article. It can be presented in total as the Acton school budget for the total amount, up or down, yes or no.
Yes.
If that's the case, I would very highly recommend we do that so it's one line item for everybody versus 22 line items. So we can do that too. We just chose not to do that last year. So just a couple of points of information. We'll see how those play out over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, we still have the wordy ones at the end though. that say meets the EPS, and so it's this amount.
What I will
Still
do
have-
is I will have, when we have our budget voted on, it's approved by the school committee and recommended by the Warrant Finance Committee, I'll then take that to Drummond and Woodson to say, how can we present this in the most efficient manner legally on a ballot? And put it in the most efficient manner legally on a ballot, because a lot of other school districts did that last year. They didn't have all of their warrant articles laid out. They had it as one total, and I don't know the particular of that, like that one, how much over EPS are you? We may have to have that as a standout, but that's why we have Drummond and Woodson if we need them.
And the other thing for people to be aware of, if we do go that route, is that we will still have the budget books available, which will be a very transparent, detailed outline of everything that's in our budget. So we'll make those available in plenty of time before the town meeting. And we could even do some Zoom explanations of the budget if anybody wanted to ask any questions. We can have like an open meeting where people can Zoom in if they have any questions that they want to ask of us, so that it isn't like they're looking at it and saying, well, I don't know what's in this budget. We want to be sure that we have those budget books out that show where every dollar is going to be spent in our budget. So, yeah, that would make sense that people didn't have to check off every single article, as long as they understand them. And I think probably in order to understand them, even if they were printed out, they would have had to have looked at the budget book anyway. So, yeah.
That's a good point.
If I may.
Yeah, go ahead, Dennis.
Another thing they discussed last night at the selectmen's meeting was checking with the fairgrounds. Because we don't know with the COVID if they're gonna, because you can have 100 people outside right now. And maybe they'll loosen some of that up. And the fairgrounds, as you know, has the grandstand and the stage, and they're gonna check into the possibilities of doing the Junetown meeting there.
Have an outdoor town meeting, is what you're
Yes.
saying. Yeah, that's new to me, that's good.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what they
thank you.
said last
Yep.
night.
Yeah, good piece of information. Just to augment a little bit of what Judy Shane said, is the budget book will have everything that's here, everything we look at, and a section at the front, a prelude, that'll explain how we used the federal monies that we've received this year. I think it's very, very, very important, not tonight, but towards the end of the process, and in writing in the budget book for the community to understand the value of the federal money that we had, and the long-term cost savings to the town based on those the value of those funding we've expended.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you want to move on then with the process?
Let's move on
Okay.
to Article 5.
Article 5. All right, so just to remind everybody, you have your printouts in front of you, and we work left to right. And your object is the area, the cost code, the center in which we're spending the money, and then you have the actuals for 2 years ago. You have the budget from the year we're living in now, and then the proposed budget, and then a variance, which is either up or down, and sometimes flat. And the first one is stipends. And the stipends, we're looking at an increase of about $2,400 or 7%. And if there's any questions in regards to the stipend committee, because of COVID, we didn't have anything new last year, anything proposed. We're working from the same blueprint that we did in the prior fiscal year. Nothing has changed. We're not adding anything to it. I do have stipend money this year I haven't expended, in which I'm using a very little of that to run intramurals now, because we piloted it, it was great, and now I'm actually paying co-chairs to run it. But there wasn't a need to even bring a committee together because there were no changes. We will have to do that next year at this time, providing that the whole COVID situation is probably going to be a memory at that point. Employee benefits, yeah, that's how you do that. Employee benefits are up 12% overall, which is $330. The next few are pretty much relatively flat, which are professional services, no increase. Repair and maintenance, no increase. Travel and conferences, no increase. Instructional supplies, no increase. Dues and fees, the same. Transportation and field trips, no increase. And your overall variance it's up $2,730 for Article 5. Any questions in total for Article 5?
Well, did you think we might save money because of our, the bands that we have?
That's going to show in the special ed transportation budget that we do last. Yes.
Okay.
I think what we need to do, because we don't know, I think we need to be conservative going into next year with the transportation, see what our actuals are after running the vans with our special ed population, and actually this year we're learning our homeless population. We have some kids we're transporting this right now. And then make adjustments in the following year when we know our real cost, because the special ed transportation contract will be open this spring. And it can be a 3-year contract, so that can be fixed, and then we'll understand what that is. My hope is the special ed transportation contract will pretty much only include the cost of a driver. And then the fuel, of course, insurance, and any kind of maintenance on the vans. But those vans, Kim and I were talking, 5 years we should get a good solid 5 years out of them, and then talk to you about a rotation every year, about rotating one out and a new one in, so we're never really dealing with 3 vans at once. So that would be my proposal. When we get to that, Mary, let's really talk about what, we haven't been down this road before, so I'm probably gonna play a little more conservative on this with monies as far as how much might this cost us. Because one kid outside of our van pool that moves to the district that we need to transport, we then need to probably deal with whoever's supplying us the drivers to supply us a driver and some mechanism of transportation too. This is kind of a bit of a wild card there, so I just want to make sure that we're a little bit conservative on that, and that'll be the last one we tackle.
Just to back up on what you're talking about with what we just covered, John, maybe you are aware of it, or maybe you're not. Last night at the selectmen's meeting, the rec asked permission from the selectmen to run a baseball program this spring.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull it off or not, but that might affect some of the stuff you do this spring too, with the little kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know that we're gonna be able to offer up a spring sports season if kids want it.
I know you had said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And the intramural stuff for the little
Yep.
kids and all that stuff. And I don't know how I just want to make sure you was aware that
Thank you.
that's out there.
Okay, anything else on Article 5, other instruction? Okay, we'll move to Article 6, which is, I think, the longest of the 3 of them. Article 6 is support staff, working left to right. Professional salaries, the people listed are under your notation: social worker, nurse, instructional co-assistant, principal, and librarian is up 3.74%. Salaries for regular employees, which is our IT director, is there. Salaries paid to substitutes is flat. Stipends paid is up $2,000. Employee benefits is up $145. Employee benefits for professionals is down $755. Benefits for regular employees is down $93. Group health insurance is down $1,586. Group health insurance down $415. Then that Social Security Medicaid for substitutes is flat. Retirement up $358. I'm on total reimbursement for professionals is flat. Tuition reimbursement for support staff is flat. Professional employee training and development services is flat. Other professional services, no increase. Repair, maintenance services, no increase, it's flat. Photocopier service agreement, nothing's changed again. Software repair and maintenance is up $7,000. A lot of that has to do with the new software that we've invested in, mostly for remote learning, that we know we want to hold on to moving into next year. Teachers really like it, kids really like it. Communication, cell phone, and travel both are flat. I'm now turning the page. Pretty much no increase all the way down this last page. Instructional supplies is flat, books and periodicals, technology-related supplies. It says covered by grant. Kim, do you want to that's a large chunk there of $18,000, almost $19,000. It says covered in a grant. You talk, because Mike's not here tonight.
Yeah.
Would you speak for him?
So in one of the grants, we spent over $30,000 on computers, laptops, things like that. So we had Oh, and this also was to cover a security system as well, which we covered in the grant. So because those items got covered in the grant, we didn't have to put them in the operating. We took them, we didn't spend it and we took it out, so.
In particular, and this was tricky in the fall because we had that COVID money from the federal government and remote learning was one of the high ticket items along with sanitation and ventilation. Mike bought brand new laptops for the kids that then pushed the laptops that we had to the ed techs who had the very old models. Normally Mike would do a refresh each year, which basically saved us that refresh, and that's where the 18.5 is for the refresh. Eventually, 3-4 years out from now, we'll have to readdress this, but that was a good investment with federal money right there that we can remove from next year's budget. Equipment is flat. There's your technology refresh for an additional 15 that's gone. So the 15 and the 18, there's your 30, Kim, right there. There's 33.5, because I was gonna say, I knew it was right around $35,000.
Yep.
So between the two of them. PBS supplies are flat. So basically, Article 6 is down about $1,206 overall as an article. Any questions on Article 6 in total? Conversation? Okay, we are efficient.
Yes, you are.
And then lastly, Article 7, well, I gotta give Kim credit for this.
Right, I was gonna say, and Ms.
Well,
Kim.
hold
This
on,
software is
hold
great.
on, the
Uh-oh.
technology
Yeah.
refresh, are those numbers in the correct column? Or should it reflect the technology related supplies? Should it be the same, like a 0, and then in parentheses, 15,000? No?
No, so the second column, so the first column is what was actually spent in the year FY19.
No, I'm over two more columns.
Yeah, so then the
Middle.
second column is 18.5, that's what's in our budget for this year.
Right.
And then for the budget coming up, we did not budget anything because the security.
Well, it says 15,000
No, it says,
for
She's get-
equipment. The third line up after the word
Mary's looking
total.
down 2 more lines from where Kim's looking.
So you see the word total, go 3 lines up, you see equipment,
Yeah,
and it says 15,000 in the third column over.
Technology.
Is that correct? Because I thought we said 0 in the refresh.
Well, it's just the same.
or was there gonna be another 15 added to the
There's going-
refresh?
Yeah, so so he's still going to keep the refresh program
Yeah.
going. Because even though we got a certain group of computers, that took care of one group. And the teachers and that type of stuff. But the bulk of what we covered for the grant was all the security cameras and stuff, which he also had in the technology related, so that's the 18.5.
Okay, I just want to
But-
make sure it's not the same thing. So now it's like he caught up a year
Yeah,
and it's,
so he's still
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
keep that cycle going,
yep.
but it'll be a different group of computers. So like, I think he told me today, the next group would be the 6, 7, 8 kids. Those would be the next group to get a replacement,
Okay.
so.
Mike couldn't be here tonight, and Kim was his proxy only because he had an outstanding appointment he made 6 months ago. Otherwise, he would be here tonight. I just wanted you guys to know that's why he's not here. Okay, we are on Article 7. And it starts with superintendent salary, flat, business staff salaries, little increase there, board secretary stipend, flat, stipend benefits, flat, superintendent benefits are up, business staff benefits are down. Superintendent group insurance is up 137. Support group insurance is down 8,000, almost 9,000. Main PERS is flat. Contracted services is up $100. Excuse me. Purchase services is up 5,000. And speaking with Kim earlier today, usually that's pretty flat, but we're moving into a collective bargaining year. So that's why that's bumped for this particular fiscal year. Board stipends are flat. Repairs and maintenance, no change, flat. Liability insurance, regular increase of $500. No change in postage, no change in cell phones. No change in advertising. Travel and conference flat, no change. Supplies, no change. Dues and fees, flat, no change. Bank service charges at $100, no change. Total overall for Article 7, it's up just over $5,000, $5,202. Any questions on Article 7? Okay, I will say that the APTA fund that Kim is using, the software has made this even more streamlined because we group all teachers and we group versus a teacher, we're looking at a teacher of K2. And in this case, these 3 articles really only took us about a half hour to go through because of the efficiencies. I do think the special ed one's gonna be the longest one we deal with. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And the only other thing, now that I have Dennis with us, if it's okay with you, Dennis, we have dates, and maybe Kim, you can look up those dates for me as the proposed date for the review of the warrant finance of this budget. Eventually,
That's March 11th.
okay, so eventually we're gonna get the school committee to the place where they're gonna be voting on these articles on the March 11th regular school committee meeting, if we got that date right.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me, so we'll roll with that.
Yeah.
We've talked before about just doing what we used to do years ago, which is warrant finance sits here and the school committee kind of gives up a seat and goes to the audience, and the same night that the school committee will approve the budget, warrant finance can do their review up or down on all these cost centers.
Well-
Is that still achievable, do you think?
Well, what my thought is exactly what you're saying,
Okay.
John, because what I would like to do is you guys vote on the budget on the 11th, and I really would like the Warrant Finance Committee to vote on the budget on the 11th,
Okay.
so that we're all done with it,
With no extra meeting at that
with
point?
no extra meeting. And I have a meeting Monday with the Warrant Finance Committee, and I'll bring this up. If the
Okay.
school committee is willing to vote on the budget that night, I'd really like to put it all behind us, to tell you the truth.
So we really only have one more Thursday, which is, I think, the 4th?
The 4th, yeah.
That'll be the special ed that's included, thank you. It'll be the budget, it'll be our last budget meeting that's not a school committee night. Then we meet on the 11th. I do have an agenda for that school committee meeting that includes an update with STEAM, which I think is important to do. It won't be very long, but I am bringing Sally Puffer in, and she and I will give a quick presentation on that. And that'll be probably the meat of it versus any policies we might have. And then it's just gonna be, as we always do, it'll be the night for the school committee to read each article and take a vote.
That was one thing I was gonna ask about tonight, since you're all here, because policy would be next Monday,
Mm-hmm.
but you're having a ski trip on Monday.
I am. Oh yeah, by the way, we've finally taken our first field trip in over a year. And we're taking the 5th graders skiing, but we're doing it twice because we're taking the blue group on Monday and we're taking the white group on Friday, so.
So I didn't know if you just wanted to bypass policy because.
Well, policy committee's here. What say you, policy committee, to forego policy for a month for budget?
Well, you have the policy meeting March 11th on this paper here. And that's the Thursday, the same Thursday we have the school committee meeting, but
It is listed here as policy committee
Right.
meeting as March
Well,
11th.
that is a typo.
So
Right.
Kim's got it on her calendar as
I know,
Monday.
right, I know, it's all right. I don't care, it doesn't matter to me, as long as it's in the daytime.
Okay. You want to just go with, we'll allow Kim to pass on the policy for this month? Because I don't think we have anything pressing that has to get done this fiscal year.
Whatever you think, I mean, I know it's,
Did we just skip it and then?
Okay.
I'll just-
all right.
Focus on the
Because I
budget.
don't want, where John's gonna be gone all day, I just don't wanna have it and not have you there,
Okay,
you know?
that's fine.
There's a bunch that are coming up that are all about, and
In all honesty, Kim, what it will do too, and thank you, policy committee, is it'll take one less thing that we have to do on Thursday night, because we need to do the entire budget by each article,
Yeah.
and you have to read it and vote on it, and then we're gonna turn it over to Dennis and his committee, and they're gonna look at each one too. So the less we have to do in regular school committee, perhaps the better, and I really do wanna do the STEAM presentation, so.
And if I may, John, I'm gonna emphasize, or try to anyway, Monday night, all this stuff they can watch on the APAT channel, and they all can watch it on Zoom or whatever. I'm gonna encourage them to
I'll have to
email any questions to Kim.
You saw the 18th, right?
That they might have watching the meetings, so we don't get bogged down that night.
Agreed, that'd be great.
And what I would like to do, and this is obviously up to the Warrant Finance Committee, what I'd like to do is the same thing I did last year. If you remember, we voted the whole thing,
You did it in a Zoom meeting, you just took one question.
just one question.
That was the most efficient warrant finance meeting I've ever been to in my life.
Well, my reason really is, and this is just my perspective, and obviously the committee will make the decision. A lot of it is because of Kim. Why I would like to do that, and I'd like to thank Kim. I called her at 4 o'clock today about the Zoom number, and I think it was 5 minutes past 4, I got the email saying what the Zoom number was tonight, and that's the way she always is. Anytime I call her about anything, and I just want to tell you guys that I really appreciate the professionalism and the welcoming that Kim always puts out there.
Of course.
And you'll feel very, very free to ask questions. She just does a great job. And from a citizen's point of view and the chairman of the Warrant Finance Committee, I think she is by far the best we've ever had in the school department.
Amen.
We know that. We know that.
And everybody knows if I have something
Absolutely.
negative to say, I'm probably gonna say it, but there is nothing negative about her.
Nothing
And
like Kim.
if I may, John, I do have a few more things.
What, next Thursday?
So next Thursday will be our last budget meeting.
Okay, so I'm looking down at the 13th now, and 18th, I heard somebody comment on that.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is, we'll do our school committee meeting on, next Thursday is our last budget meeting.
Okay.
But, no, well, Kim, work with me on this one. If next Thursday, are we gonna do special ed and all the others?
Yeah, so we'd have to.
So we are a
special
week
ed.
ahead.
Yeah, we are.
According, we built in an extra meeting in the schedule, but we're already there.
Yeah, we,
So we can get everything wrapped up on the 11th then by keeping it to a lean school committee meeting and then doing the total budget vote.
yeah.
Okay, so we're 1 week ahead of what we
Yeah,
have
I'm
here.
just.
I looked down
I
too.
just want to make sure that Kim's gonna have time to put a warrant together after March 4th before.
Yeah, no, I can get the book all done. I'll need you guys to write your letters and have that stuff ready, but,
But for you to vote on a budget articles though, you don't need the whole budget booklet done ahead of time.
No.
No, Judy and I
That's-
usually do that after, we do that after when we're ready to print it.
you'd have
No.
to do it, I'd do the book after because you
Correct.
guys have to vote on it
Right,
first.
yeah.
before
Right,
I
and
can
you
put
need
it
those
together.
votes in
You
there,
could make
correct.
some changes between now and then.
No, I wasn't talking about the budget book, I was talking about
The
getting
articles.
the time to put the warrant together, the
Yeah,
articles.
that's no problem.
Okay.
We got that.
So you're talking that night on the 11th for the Warrant and Finance
That's-
Committee to be there too?
Dennis is
Yeah.
pushing for it.
And to get it all over and
hoping
have
to
them
that.
watch the TV and whatnot, or whatever they need, so we
Yeah.
don't have to go through the questions that
I hope
they
not,
haven't
yeah.
been paying
And
attention.
they'll email the questions to Kim and John in
Right.
advance.
Yeah.
It would be much easier.
So on March
Couple weeks.
4th, what are the articles? 3, you said?
It'll be 3 and 9 and 12 and revenues.
That'll be a week from tonight. And then that'll be our total budget. We'll know where we are. And then we'll present that the following Thursday. And that gives Kim a week to put the warrant, the articles together to read and vote on, up or down in a roll call vote here that night.
And this timeframe won't be new to the Warrant Finance Committee, because I think it was last month, we had a Warrant Finance Committee meeting, and I went over the schedule with them.
Yeah.
We're a week ahead now, though. That's the thing you'll want to let them know, is we're a week ahead of what we have on here. And I guess it is a fail-safe that if for some reason, Dennis,
We did that extra week.
you have the extra
Yes.
week, if for some reason we can't swap seats that night, we built the extra week in. We've
Well,
already
okay.
got it on a calendar.
I
We have
sure
to.
want to.
Okay. All right.
And I do have a few more things, if it's all right. One's for Kim.
Uh-oh.
Kim, in the audit, in the town report, the treasurer's report, it says that the school has a fund balance of $296,000. Are you familiar with that? You know what the fund, what you,
Yeah,
last year?
I
Oh,
have it
last-
all
oh.
broken down. So I
Okay,
mean, that's kind of like a loaded question.
Want me to give it to you? Well, I'll give you the treasurer's report,
Okay.
all right?
You talking
Cause-
FY
cause
last
I-
year?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
because that
Because the
affects,
school has their own,
I understand that.
yeah,
I
okay.
agree with you 100%. Page 26, here we go. You guys are right at the bottom. These two here.
Yep,
I thought that was your undesignated fund balance after all commitments. Is that right?
I would have to double check with my numbers, but I would assume it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, what I'm saying is you guys don't have a fund balance,
Do I have that much money in my?
$1.5 million.
No.
No.
I just want to make sure I was arguing it right,
Oh, good.
because that's what I thought it was. And the other things is on a personal note. I would like to, I mentioned this at the Warrant Finance committee meeting too. I would like to personally thank Andy for all him and his staff have done around this place and being proactive. He's just done a great job. And I just want to acknowledge that as somebody that has kids in the school, well, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, but I just think he really needs kudos for that. And sometimes I don't think it's the people behind the scenes like Andy is put out there enough.
Yeah.
And I mean no disrespect to anybody else, the teachers or anybody else, but Andy's done a lot of work. And he really deserves kudos from the town, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, thank you for carrying that message forward, Dennis.
And the other one that I want to talk about is Mike Corey. I know I spoke about him a little bit last year. It's been a year now, next week or the week after, since
Yeah.
we've been shut down.
Yeah, the 15th, yeah.
And the school department could not have done what they've done if it was for Mike Corey. And he's just done a great job, and I can't say enough as a parent, a grandparent, enough good about him. He's just a great asset to the town. Then the next one, I'd really like to thank is the children of this town. Because what they've been through is absolutely terrible. And what a bunch of troopers. And they deserve a lot of credit for doing the stuff at home and not being socialized properly, or say properly, like they should be able to. And boy, they've had a hard time. And I appreciate what the school obviously has done the best they can. But these kids have really taken a hit, and they've been troopers about it.
Yeah, ditto that on the kids. We've had zero issues with mass and distancing.
Yeah.
They're very, very good about it. Never had an issue.
You know, but you don't hear too much about it.
No, you really
You know what I
don't.
mean?
Yeah.
And the parents deserve credit too for
Well, the poor grandparents.
keeping them on the grandparents. But keeping the kids on task at home and doing stuff that they've never had to do before. It's a total new role for them.
And I gotta tell you guys, I'm sending out emails. All right? Thank goodness my grandchildren, they've taught me so much. And I really do.
That happens.
And just a little humor here. I was doing the planning board, webmail. And I see an email from Jennifer Root. And it says, welcome to webmail.org or something. If you get this, let me know. So it's like, whew. So I sent her an email saying I got it. And she calls me up. She goes, Dennis, what did you get? I says, this email from you there for the webmail. I says, oh, wait a minute, and I put my glasses on. I says, that's November 2018. Sorry, I'm a little late sending an email back. So I've advanced so much, thanks to my grandchildren, and they're still teaching me.
Good.
That's all I'm gonna talk. I always have to talk, but
Thank you, that's great. Okay, turn
You
it
also have to say the same about Mr. Ross. All you said, Dennis,
No,
applies also to Mr. Ross.
oh, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
but you didn't mention his name.
Well, I'm sorry. I just thought it was a given that John and I, we get along great. and-
Oh, okay.
he's the only one close enough to kick me out of all the,
Oh,
under the table.
You're right, Jeanette, and I apologize.
All right, is there anything else to come before us tonight?
And thank you, Dennis,
Yes, thank you,
Thank you,
Dennis.
all
Dennis,
your
for being here
knowledge
tonight.
and all your years.
Appreciate it.
I won't be able to make the next meeting, I got another commitment,
You got it.
but I'll watch it on that,
Oh.
that.
We'll be here. All right.
Do we want to acknowledge who zoomed in?
Arnie did.
Arnie.
Oh,
Arnie
good,
Murray.
Arnie.
Okay.
Right, Arnold Murray?
Arnie.
Yeah, Arnold Murray, great. Hello, Arnold.
He doesn't, he won't, oh, he's waving.
Okay. All right, wait for all of us, thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
I tried to get him to unmute, but he's,
okay.
that's okay.
Okay then, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. If someone will
Second
tell
that.
me. Hold on.
5:36.
At 5:36.
All right, all in favor?
Right.
So moved.
Even with me talking, it didn't last that long.